Check one. Welcome to another episode of Happy Hour Chicks. All right, as you know, Happy Hour Chicks is not happy hour without drinks. And to start our drinks out, oh, there go the ladies. Oh yeah, they're drinking Cosmo. Happy Hour Chicks Cosmos, which are put together by me, your host today. And the ladies are doing fantastic. So we're gonna do a quick round where everybody can reintroduce themselves. And of course, I'm Frank Nitti, the host. And let me pass the mic.
I am Half Pint.
Alicia.
D-Town.
And we are the Happy Hour Chicks.
For sure, for sure. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's get this party started. Now, the NFL has been on the television for quite some time. And it's been negative press, but it may be for a good reason. I don't know, but I'm gonna throw the question out. The brother by the name of Colin Kaepernick used to quarterback for San Francisco. He's now without a team due to the fact that he kneeled down on the national anthem, and I know everybody's gonna have their views on this. Of course, it's America. You have the right to do what you want to do, but let's pass it around, see where you guys feel, and we'll start from there. I'll start with Half Pint.
Well, first of all, I can't even say his name, so I'm going to just say KPN. Kaepernick. Anywho, everybody has a free speech and how they feel about this issue. If that's what he feels he needs to do, then that's what he's going to have to continue to do. If not, I don't know what the NFL is going to do about this. Because, I mean, you know, I'll go back to the initials, NFL. It means not for long. So I'm going to pass the mic on that song.
I think that he has to be responsible for the thoughts that he shared or what he put out there. And when you work for someone, there's rules, there's regulations that you have to follow. It's not yours. It's not your place. It's not your business that you own. So there are rules you have to follow. So when you do something that's outside of the rules, then there's actions and consequences that you have to pay for that. So he made a stand. He knew it could be possible consequences. No football team is looking to try to hire him. That's just what it is. He may have to move on and find something else. As far as, you know, people out there picketing and wanting him to be hired by a team, I frankly think that it's other things that we could be working on than him trying to help him get his job back.
Hey, so D-Town, that's for Denver. I know we haven't had a proper introduction, but that's where I'm from, and that makes me a very die-hard football fan, Bronco fan, and I'm boycotting the NFL this season because Kaepernick has been blackballed. And you know, I see a lot of different viewpoints about this, and I'm not one to sit and argue, but my personal stance is that he stood up for a cause that a lot of the owners don't believe in, and that's the reason why they have him sitting down. And you know, it's not that the NFL is a stranger to social causes, because we see every October they don pink for breast cancer. They take a stance when they want to.
Right, they do.
But when it came to this young man taking a knee for my sons and other young black men out there that are being murdered on a regular basis by the police, they had an issue with it. And I feel like he's getting a raw deal, and I think people are starting to wake up to it, and they see exactly what's going on. People want to talk about his quarterback rating and, you know, how he can be or can't be on the field, but it's not about that when it comes down to it, because he's a decent quarterback. It's just that he took a knee, and no one wants to deal with the consequences of having him on a team. So now you have to deal with the consequences of blackballing him, and that comes to diehard fans like me and other people refusing to tune in. And so no NFL, no cap, no NFL. That's my theory for this year. And until someone takes an honest look at him and decide that they can join his team, I can't watch. But it's interesting to me that people are starting to come out, including some white players, and support him. And that's when you know that this dude is on to something. Because they've had other players who haven't stood during the national anthem before for their own various reasons. There was a time when the national anthem wasn't even a part of an NFL game. So it's not like it's some long tradition. When the money got introduced, they started having them out there with their flags and standing for the national anthem. So I'm passionate about this, if you can't tell. But I feel strongly that he's standing not just for my sons, but himself and all the people who make up that league. Look at who the players are. And they are being adversely affected by the cause he is taking a knee for. So I'm not watching, and I hope a lot of other people decide to black out the NFL and make them listen to us. We are making them all that money.
Okay. Well, I mean, you heard D-Town. D-Town is real passionate about it. But, of course, you know, I'm your host. I can't just let you off the hook like that. All right. So we heard that D-Town's passionate about Kaepernick and not part of the NFL standing. Alicia feels like this is your job, you know, follow the rules of the job. And of course, half pint is half pint, kind of skating. She's all on the fence on this. And I hear everyone, but I'm sure the viewers want to know. Okay, so we're going to start with, okay, so if it's a job, was it in the job details for them not to, is it required? Is it a requirement to stand? Is the first question I would have to ask NFL. Is it a requirement for all players in their contract to stand for the national anthem? If it is not in the contract, then they can't be held accountable for it. Now, does that require it to be a protest? I couldn't say that Kaepernick was actually protesting because he wasn't saying any words. He was just kneeling down quietly before the game. And these are just putting the facts out there. Now, am I going to boycott? Oh, no. Falcon fever, baby, all the way. I'm going to be watching the game.
Broncos, 303. We have rings. We have rings. We got rings in different area codes. Area codes. Broncos, 303.
Now, is anybody got anything else they want to say on the Kaepernick issue? NFL? None? Okay, well, great. Okay, so the NFL, there's a boycott, and we've already come to that. Now, is there any other type of boycott that I think that we could be doing to better the neighborhoods? Now, I'm going to put this out there, and I always kind of go off the script. Will we boycott for our neighborhoods to get owners of gas stations, strip malls, where people will put back into our community? Because what we're looking at right now, I know we're here in Atlanta, and just out of Clayton County, they just got their first black-owned gas station. I'm sorry, it's 2017, first black-owned gas station. So we first got our first, you know, owner of a minority group that could actually put back into to this community where they live in, because a lot of people will be considered minorities because they're from a different country. Let me ask the ladies. Let's start with Half Pint. How do you feel about that?
I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Happy hour!
No more drinks.
I asked for water. I got a Cosmo.
Like I mentioned before, that with Kaepernick, there are bigger and better things for us to be protesting about other than someone's job. Sorry, that's just the way I look at it. And that would be one of them, is bringing back ownership to some of the businesses that we do visit. We spend our money there. within our neighborhoods, and it would be great, and it is great to hear that we do have a black-owned gas station here in Clayton County. And yes, just to think that it's 2017 and it's one, that's kind of ridiculous. So yeah, that's something that we definitely could be raising a big fuss about, you know. And
that's what they need to
you
be
know,
kneeling down to.
well, that's what we need to be, maybe picket from going to visit. We're going to boycott visiting any station that's not owned by someone, you know, of minority, or someone that is black. We do have a lot of people who from other different countries, which that's what our country is built on, because no one is a native here unless you were Native American. So I'm going to be careful when I say, you know, minorities, but
hold on, because my genealogy just says that I am 99.99 Irish.
Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Let me see real quick. Okay, all right, viewers, hold tight. We'll be back after this message.
Hey, this is D-Town. Thank you for watching Happy Hour Chicks. We need you to subscribe and watch us on YouTube.
All right, we're back. I appreciate you coming back, and we're glad to be back. We're going to get right back to this. I don't want you to hold off on this. I want to get right back to it. I'm going to pass the mic back to Alicia so that she can finish up on what we need to do in the neighborhood. Here you go.
Like I was saying, I just feel like we do need to participate more as to own some of the businesses that we do. Where we spend our money is very important, and it's very important that the younger people, our generation, sees that we do own these places, and it is possible for you to do so.
So I'm all about supporting community businesses. I'm not going to say just black-owned businesses, but businesses that put the dollars back into the community. That's important. You know, it's the dollars should circulate back through the community at least 20 times, meaning you need to employ the people that are in the community, and they go back and spend their money in the community, and then it goes to other community ventures. You know, that the dollar just continues to support where we live. And I'm going to tie the boycott into this, because you're right, we've got to be standing for other things. To me, the boycott's not just about his job, but all things aside, I think we're multifaceted, and we can do several things at one time. So for me, on Sunday, since I'm not watching the game, my mission is to find a new black-owned business to support on Sundays, to sow a seed into, and or do community service. So it's boycotting with a cause. You can't just be out there sitting at home, not watching that, but then, you know, binging out to catch up on Power, which I need to do. But you got to be doing something meaningful. I think you need to do something meaningful with your time. So I think that some good things can come of that if we are focusing our energy somewhere else. So if I'm not going to tune in, and y'all know I veg out on football, I wake up, I turn on ESPN, I watch all the pregame shows, every game I can watch, and then I fall asleep at night looking at all the plays of the day. So if I can take 4 or 5 hours out of that time and go and spend my money with someone in the community and find a cause to take up, then, you know, we're all better for it. And now something is materializing out of this boycott. So just a shout out real quick to the gas station that's out here in Clayton County. I'm on my way to you. I'm glad that you brought it up, because I'm on this side of town, and I'm on a mission to go and spend my money with them. So when I go gas up for the week, I'm going to do it out here, and I'm nowhere close to home. But those are the things we have to do. We have to support the businesses that are in our community, and then our businesses, some of them we got to do better to make sure people are coming to spend their money with them, because we all know it's not a myth. Sometimes y'all are not up to par, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but, you know, we got to be on 10. Everybody has to be conscious and aware. Crazy. So D-Town, Happy Hour Chicks, talking about some important things that are going on in the community, and I appreciate us even bringing up this topic.
Okay. Well, you know, happy hour chicks just don't stop right here at the happy hour table. Once D-Town gets out there and checks with the owner of that new gas station, if they allow us to bring the cameras in to talk to them, we're going to get D-Town to talk with them and get her on tape so that you can see it and so that you can bring your support and hear from the new owner's mouth. That's, of course, as if they're willing to do that. But if they're not, well, of course, you won't see it. All right, well, hey, you know what time it is. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's change gears. You know, we like to change gears. I'm not saying that anybody here at this table smokes marijuana, but marijuana is a big topic in a lot of places. We know it's legal out west, a lot of places, California, Denver. But should marijuana be legalized in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, the whole Georgia? Let's start with Half Pint. Let's start with her.
Just say no. I'm going to go off of that note. I'm going to pass this mic, but please say no. There's enough going on here. You have a great state going on. It's the peach state, so everybody stay peachy. You know, I like peachy. So I'm going to pass the mic on that peachy.
Well, personally, I'm not a smoker, but I'm not against it being legal here in Georgia. I think it would bring a lot of money here, especially if it's utilized to put back into the communities. It would be great if we, once again, could have some minority owners of those particular dispensaries. If it's legalized here, that would be a great thing. And it would be great just so our young men and women aren't locked up just because they have some weed on them, when there are definitely bigger fish to fry. But then they choose to pick on the younger people here. But that's a whole nother story. But yes, I think it would be great for it to be legalized here in Georgia.
So I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I'm not pro marijuana. I'm not against it. I see the benefits of making marijuana legal. I'm in no rush to have it legalized. I've seen some of the things that it's done to my home city, my hometown. It's bringing in a lot of money, but it's also pricing people out of the market. And so, when it's a state-by-state approach, it brings its own issues, right? Because people then rush to that one state. Right. They want to set up camp. They come in and make the money. And a lot of times the natives get pushed out. And so those are some of the disadvantages. But they're making money hand over fist, and I'm all for that. I want to see that money trickle down, right, and it needs to benefit everybody, yes, if they're going to do that. But, like Lily was just saying, the number of young people that have been locked up behind possessing marijuana or selling it and are sent to our jails and prisons for years upon years and ruin their lives, right, behind a substance that is really a controlled substance, because we know who's flying that stuff in here and growing it. They already got control over it, right, and then they allow it to float into our neighborhoods and put our children in jail. Right. That's a problem. Yes. So if we're able to get from under that, and they stop locking our kids away behind possessing, a substance that's really not that harmful. Because I got some uncles and aunts been smoking it for years. They straight. Ain't nothing wrong with them. Right. Then I'm all for it. I'm just not pushing it until I know that there's a plan in place for it. Because you just legalize it and let it go, bad things happen. Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Okay. Hey, that sounds great. I understand exactly what the ladies are talking about. But here's the kicker. Jeff Sessions, he's a political figure that is in charge of federal movements, has already said that they're looking at going after those states who have legalized marijuana. So that means everyone that's in these states is legal. So if you got a dispensary or whatever you're doing with the business, if the feds come in, they can lock you away for a long time and seize every asset you have. I mean, any thoughts?
That's so deep. Are you serious?
Absolutely. They're going to do it. That's what they said they're going to do. It's on and popping.
Well, Half Pint always has a word for you. Just say no.
I think that the reality of that actually happening is, excuse me, not as big as I think that it's the threat is, because we don't own them. We don't own them. We might have one or two dispensaries that I think we own. As I know for sure, it's only one that I know that is owned by a minority. So the rest of them are owned by other people. So I don't think they're going to be locking them up. And then as far as I know, a lot of them, it costs quite a bit of money to even start one. I want to say at least $500,000 just to get started, to get licensed, to get the store. Exactly. So what you're getting, you have other corporations that are representing these companies. These people don't have $500,000. So if you have these big companies that own part of these dispensaries, do you really think the government is going to lock them up and all the tax money that they're earning from this? No, it's just a threat.
Yeah. So just quickly, it's risk versus reward, and the reward is much bigger than the risk right now because they know these folks are not coming for them. They knew it was always a possibility that people can't put their money in banks right now because it's not FDIC insured. This is all part of the plan.
Right.
So it's a scare tactic. They're not coming after these folks. They're figuring out ways to get the federal government involved so they can make their portion. That's all it is. And so it's just a matter of time. The threat will go away, and the feds will get their money, and then everybody's going to be happy. It'll be dispensaries like liquor stores.
All right, y'all heard it from the Happy Hour Chicks. We'll be back after this moment.
Hey, this is Happy Hour Chicks. Make sure you tune in on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, and like on YouTube.
This is Frank Nitti of Frank Nitti TV. Thanks for watching. I'm looking for more rap artists, more rock and roll artists, country, blues, whatever music you're doing. I'm interested in coming out to see you. You can reach me at frankw3@gmail.com. Don't hesitate. I won't be late. I'm ready to get at you. If you need to reach my buddy, that's also a part of my show, Reggie Reg, you can reach him at reggieuncle@yahoo.com. We're looking forward to working with you. All right, back to the show. All right, we're back. All right, so you heard it. The ladies had much to say on the marijuana situation. And again, it's totally up to the states and working the deal out and working this thing out with the federal government if they decide to come in and, blow up their spot, basically. All right, well, let's jump into something else. Let's talk about children. Everyone, not everyone, because then it wouldn't be a topic. So a lot of people prefer that their children have cell phones. Some people prefer that their kids don't have cell phones. Cell phones in school, on the bus, emergency. What's the deal? So we're going to start with D-Town on this one, and we'll see what D-Town got to say about cell phones.
Why you pick me? Because I got a lot of kids. Probably, yes. I have 4 of them, and it's interesting you even brought this up because my 2 youngest ones just received cell phones as birthday gifts, and they are 7 and 9. Now, would I have ever bought them cell phones at those ages? No way, not in a million years. But after a week with the phones, I've come around a little bit, and it's not as bad as I thought. Now, you have to be a real regulator to have children that young with phones. And so we're going to institute regular checks. Let me see it, what kind of apps you got on here, what are these text messages looking like? How many numbers do you have programmed in this phone? Because it shouldn't be more than a handful. It's only certain people you need to call. And then I have to regulate the time they're on it, because now it's, they're all fascinated with it. But I can see where it can come in handy, because it allows them to keep in touch with their dad on a regular basis. I'm all for that, for them to be able to pick up the phone and call him. And in situations where I'm apart from them and they need to get in touch with me, I'm good with that too. And we didn't have them, but times are different. And I don't work 9 to 5, like my mom did, and have that extra time at home. I'm away more often. My work hours are longer. So it's cool for them to have them, but parents got to be on top of that. You got to be in your kids' business. There is no privacy at that age. And so as long as you understand that, I'm good with them having it.
Well, my kids are grown, so I think when I was able or wanted to get them cell phones, it was because of a need. I think they were at least in middle school when I purchased them, because I discovered just one day my son was left out because football practice ended early and they wouldn't allow them to come in to use the public phone. And then I realized also that there aren't any pay phones anywhere. Right. So I was scared for my child, that he would be stranded somewhere and couldn't contact me. So that was the reason for me purchasing the cell phone. But again, that was when they were 13, 14 years old. D-Town, doing a little earlier than I probably would do. But I can see the necessity for it, just because payphones don't exist. If payphones were still out there, I probably wouldn't have purchased that cell phone that early. But I do feel like they have to get in touch with me or someone to be able to help them in any situation they may have. I know as they're teenagers, when parties go wild and crazy, I want to be able to be called so I can come get you if there's an issue. So, yes, I think they're important for them to have. Too early, I don't know. I think it depends on your kids and the different things that they're in. Because if your kid is very active and they go to different practices, they're in all these different sports, music, or whatever, you have to be able to have, contact with them because they're away from you. And like D-Town said, when you're working a lot, you want to know where they are. And the cell phone is definitely the way to do it.
Yeah. I agree with Lily. However, let's go back in the day. Me and the host, Frank Nitti, we was talking about the rotary phones. Well, it took you 5 minutes to get to the one. And then you had to wait 5 minutes for it to come back around. Then you had to dial number 2. Then you had to wait 5 more minutes. And, we talk about, and I want to talk about the cell phones in these minutes. Because you have people out there, I have a phone, but I got an eye too. I do not have an iPhone. You buying these kids these iPhones. It's great for emergencies, Hey, I got, I ain't even going to say the brand I got, but I got a brand that basically I'm a baller on the budget, okay? It's a budget phone, okay? It might be still my President Obama. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, but I can get pictures. However, the cell phones are great for emergencies, especially for the younger children, even the teenagers as well. However, the social media has to be cut out of these cell phones from children. Adults too, but these children, they know more than what you know. Believe me, I know. The social media is mean. They're ugly. I love children. I have so many nieces and nephews on and adopted, and I love children. And when you try to reach our children through social media, it's not a good idea. They're going to school. They're being bullied. It's just a lot of things going on. I have a 16-year-old. I worry about her daily of what she's doing. Is she being monitored? What's going on? Is she hurting? Is somebody talking about her? I mean, people are going to talk about you every day. But that social media, it's crazy how you can cut, you can paste. All the cutting and pasting I did was in elementary school. That's what paste. It wasn't even glue then. It was called paste. Y'all know that thick stuff? It was thick. It was thick. And you had to use a popsicle stick. That's how thick it was. It was called paste. Not glue, paste. Y'all squeeze out that glue come out like nothing. But that paste, it's like lard. You just don't need it. I'm going to pass it on. Half pint, y'all. You know I got to keep it real.
Hey, and Half Pint is always keeping it real. I don't think no one has a rotary phone any longer. Well, there's always that one person. If you're watching, I do apologize. Okay. So cell phones, and you know, and you're right. And I would like to add my 2 cents. I think that if you do want cell phones for your children, make it your business to collect the phones when they walk in the door. There's no need for the cell phone because the emergency situation is over at that point. So let's go ahead and get that, pimp, when you get in, okay? We collecting. We going to get that. Well, Mama, no. We collecting.
It's like Monopoly.
Exactly. Don't pass go. We going to get these. I'm going to throw it on the charger. I'm going to throw it on the charger. And after I throw it on the charger, you get it in the morning.
Right.
And I'm going to check through it while at night they give me a time to check. Exactly. And, you know, one way to protect from social medias is to not allow it on the phone. Yeah. So block it. And if you have an iPhone and they don't have no credit card, there's no way they can get any social media.
Get your eye in the phone.
Yeah, get out of the phone. And make sure that they don't get that access. Don't be so gullible to your children. Don't be a gullible guppy. Yeah. Because kids are good at finding a way to
a parent.
To get in.
Yes.
So
and monitor.
Exactly. So you got to monitor. So this is just one way of communicating. So my thing is this. So we're communicating on these new ways of communicating, but are they good? Are they bad? I mean, ladies, I don't understand. So, okay, so you got a phone for the emergency. So you spend all this money just in case of emergency, but aren't there other ways to communicate?
Yes, there is other ways. Now, see, here I go again. I wrote my mother a note. There was no cell phones. Shit, I don't even know if it, sorry to be the cuss. I don't even know if there was a rotary phone. So my mom always told me, if you're going across the street, around the corner, wherever it may be, it might be in the basement, I'm downstairs, write a note. And that's what children have to do. That's what us parents have to teach our children, how to read. Crossword puzzles are the best way to learn how to sound out a letter, look for the letters, backwards, frontwards, diagonal, all kind of ways. And it teaches you how to pronounce words, find the words, and next thing you know, you're a walking dictionary. You can be a dictionary in your mind, not on the phone. Because all this broken LOL and, TTLY, I do not understand any of that. Phone stuff. That is phone language I do not understand. And you have to understand that your parents come from a different era. We didn't have that thing. I wish I would write on a piece of paper for my mom that I will talk TTLY. She gonna be like, what is TTLY? I mean, this is back in the day we talking about. But TTLY, I did not know it meant talk to you later. I'm spelling the whole word out on a piece of paper, and y'all done broke it down. Yeah, let it go. Let it go.
Let me get that. All right. Yeah, it's all good. We'll be back after this short message. Thank you.
Hey, this is D-Town. Thank you for watching Happy Hour Chicks. We need you to subscribe and watch us on YouTube.
All right, we're back. Thanks for coming back as always. We were talking about the different ways to communicate. Is it good or is it bad? You heard from Half Pint. Now we're going to pass it over to Alicia. She's going to pick it on up. Here we go.
Dinner time is still always the best time to communicate with your kids. We've got to get back into that. Instead of in front of the TV, I know my kids, can I eat in my room? No, you can't eat in your room. Let's eat at the table. Let's talk about what's going on at school, any problems you have. You have to be open and make that a special time and make that a family time because you have to eat. So let's just make the best of it. Let them help you cook. Let them help you plan meals, just depending on how old they are. I think that's where your communication comes in, definitely. And you can kind of figure out, from your kids what's going on. They know you care because you're asking, and genuinely ask what's going on. Don't just ask how was school. Yes or no will do it for them. So you have to think of a specific question to ask them so that they open up and be able to share with you.
So thank you again for watching Happy Hour Chicks. Appreciate that. This is D-Town, and I'm back on the fence about this one. So I'm on that cusp of Gen X versus millennial. I'm like right there, and so I get both ends of the spectrum. So sometimes I don't feel like doing people. I don't want to talk to them, and so I'm big on that. And so I'm gonna take this beyond kids, communication, just period. So at work, send me an email. I don't want to talk to you. Don't call me.
Don't call me no more.
But sometimes calling is more effective. I get that,
Right.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, don't call me. I don't want to pick up the phone. But I'll respond to an email quick. And my voicemail even tells you, email me. Yeah, you're not going to catch me on this phone. Email me. And please don't leave me a message because I'm not checking those either.
Right. I'm
Yeah,
not checking my message.
I'm not doing it. And so, and there's a generation of people that I work with now behind me that you can't even email them. You got to text them to get them to respond to you.
Right.
This is business. And that's the way that it's moving. So, just communication overall is there's just this changing dynamic about it. And I've noticed in going out and meeting people, it's the same way. And there's no bigger turnoff than somebody texting you shorthand. Don't do that, guys. Just, HRU, how are you? I'm like, no, you couldn't spell it out. I ain't got time to text you back. It's not even going to happen. Man, it's just, you got to gauge that. I'm not one of these young chicks out there. Man, I can't do it. Sentences. If you're going to text me full sentences. If you're over 35, I'm going to need you to spell that stuff out. I don't have time to be guessing about all these abbreviations. I got to screenshot it and send it to my niece so she can tell me what you're saying. That's a waste of time. It's not good. So just communication, though, as a whole, but we have to learn how it's evolving because it's not the same. But my mom can text, so can you. She's almost 70. She can send me a text, you can too. So you got to know how to play both sides, but you have to be fully versed and able to pick up the phone and make a phone call. You got to be able to send an email, and you got to be able to send a text. But don't rely on one of them because I sure don't want you only calling me either. So it's balance. I know. I seen it ringing, and I ain't want to pick up. So you should have sent me a text. So that's it's just the way of the world. So you gotta learn how to adjust.
So I kind of disagree, D-Town, because I am a visual I like to communicate with visual, meaning I need to see you face to face because your eyes, your demeanor is a big part of how I receive you.
I agree.
And how you will receive me.
Agree.
So I feel like the face-to-face for the children as well, that's how they're going to communicate. if it's the next door neighbor, is it the person you sit with at school, next to at school, eat lunch with, recess, however it may go. With your parents, communication, like Lily said, starts at home. It starts at home because our children have to have social skills. If they do not have the social skills, how would they communicate?
They can't survive.
They cannot survive. They need jobs. They're going to college. They might be leaving you for the first time. You know, anything. Their own home, first-time buyer. Just if you don't know how to communicate, it's just not going to work. So I'm going to pass the mic back to the host.
Well, hey, the ladies told you. And what I picked up on, and this is for all the players out there, or somebody that's lonely, very, very super lonely. You know, you just got game. Right now, the ladies just told you what to do. Because if you've been texting and you wonder why you ain't getting no play, D-Town just told you what the deal is, you know. And if you ain't showing your face and trying to hide behind the phone or hide behind your Facebook, Half Pint just told you. Yeah. So, you know, you're getting put on game. This is what ladies want. Real ladies now. If you want a real lady now, if you got a chick, first of all, I'm not down to nobody. All I'm saying is this. There's a maturity level. If you're looking for a mature chick, this is what you got to do. And the Happy Hour chicks just told you how to get a mature chick that will be happy on the happy hour.
Communication.
Communication is the key. And so, you know, that's if you have trouble picking up. Now, I know earlier, and I never did circle back to it, and I wanted to circle back to it. Y'all know how I do. I always go back to something that you said. Half Pipe was talking about her DNA profile. So a lot of people do the DNA profile. Now, they have where you can do somehow they facial recognition, right? And I saw somebody, Black is Midnight, and they said they were European. Okay, I'm sorry, that failed. Okay, that particular test completely failed, right? And, you know, so we got to be real with this. And I know a lot of you are posting this on Facebook. But we're going to talk about it. There's actually, you could do the actual DNA test, and people are actually getting, you know, to get an idea where they're from. And we're going to start with Half Pint.
Yes, especially when it says, well, we really do not know our genealogy. We're going by a scientific, half pint, just gonna go get a half pint of chip. Good. I needed that salt. I don't need a lot of salt. So, anyhow, the genealogy part. You have to know both sides of your family. Find someone in your family who's older, who knows both sides, who is not even older. It could be, I have a family member at the table right here. It could be someone younger, older. It's just how it go. And I tell my family member that this is your cousin, this is your aunt, whoever it may be, that she might not know. It's all in that goes back. It's all in who you know. And I want to say with the genealogy, I know, are we pet peeve? I'm sorry, sir. My pet peeve is know who you are, know what you're worth, know thyself, know your genealogy, and read. Reading is the best way to go. We can swap our saliva. We can swap it, send it off. Yeah, you know, whatever.
We done moved past genealogy.
Right, that's gone. We gotta
Something like that. You can be related. You can be related. So if you do not read up on your history and find out there's someone in your family that knows about the genealogy. So I have to go right now. On the other hand, eat a chip on me.
Let me see that. Let me see that. Okay. All right. We're going to continue this conversation in a hot minute. Okay. So we'll be right back. Swab. Get some swab, some swab. All right. We'll be right back. Swab it. Right. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Happy Hour Chicks. Make sure you tune in on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, and like on YouTube.
All right. We're back. All right. Okay. You got your swabs going on. We're not finished here. All right. So y'all heard from Half Pint. All right. We're going to pick back up with Alicia. But before I want to give props out to the producer for bringing us out a couple of chips and strawberries. All right. Here we go. Here you go, lady.
You must eat with the alcohol. Just a happy hour tip. Okay. I think that the testing is a good thing. A lot of people are interested in that. A lot of people don't know where they come from. Unfortunately, people, they don't know who their parents are. They don't know who their mom is. They may not know who their father is. And it brings some type of connection and some type of closure to them to know where they're from. And I think that no matter how many ethnic groups that you're made up with, you are part of all of those ethnic groups, which I think is very important. I think we have some people that may be to the far left and some to the far right, and in actuality, they may be a certain ethnic group that they particularly don't care for, which is amazing to me just because of your skin color. People think they belong with a certain group just because of their skin color. Personally, I know people who've had the testing done. They may not look like they're European, but they are very much European more than they are African American or that they're Asian. So I'm very familiar with that. So you must know who you are. I think it's important for everyone. If you're interested, some people are not. They're okay. They know a little bit about where they come from. Just like Half Pint said, you meet relatives. Relatives tell you who your ancestors are. So you kind of know what your makeup is, and you don't need to have that testing. But for others, it brings a sense of comfort about where you come from, who you belong to, and it helps you understand possibly another group who you probably perhaps did not care for, but you are in fact a part of that group. In America, we are a complete melting pot. We are just a melting pot. It would be hard to believe that if you are from America, your family's from America, that you are not a part of someone else. So it's very important to know who you are so that you can relate to it and you're not fighting on the wrong side if there is a side. There may not be a side for anyone at this point if you choose one.
Yeah. So I wanted to do the test for a long time. And I did a bootleg one and get me the results that I really wanted. But that's what happens when you buy a genealogy test off of Groupon. So don't do that. If you want to know, pay for the full one. Right. But a lot of what it made me think about was how in the African American community, we have the theory if you got one drop of African American blood and you belong to us. So we're very welcoming to that, though. So for any of us that have cousins that have dated outside the race and they've had babies, we've always been very welcoming of those children. And then you hear the flip side where she can't take the baby home because she's married a black man and now the child is banned. And so those kids need that test more than anybody else, just to, just in case. Yes.
They may be 52% European, but they look 100%
black, right? And so just to make sure that is part of their lineage, they may need to do the test. But Frank Nitti sent me a article. I don't know if you remember, where these fools are stealing your DNA. That's what kept me from taking it to that next level. I ain't want the official test anymore. And it's disappointing because I wanted to know, but not bad enough to have somebody have my DNA and have it sold on the internet. So I'm cool on it. I'll figure it out. I got my cousin sitting over here. She can give me one part of the family history. My mother's very proficient in the other half. And so I'm just going to stay away from that. But, I think that there is a yearning amongst the African-American community to really understand where we're from, what countries we're connected to in the motherland. We want to know that stuff. We want to know what our tribe is. We want to be able to learn that because a lot of our history for us starts at slavery, and we know that is not where we came from. We're born of kings and queens, and so we really want to understand that part of us, but not at the risk of having my identity stolen. But I think that's the connection for us. And then I'll give you that same flip side where there's so many children that are born into interracial relationships, and they never really understand where they come from. They've been accepted to one side and shunned from another, so I get it. But I just hope we can lock that thing down and make it secure because, I'm with Happy Hour Chicks. This is enough online for me. I don't need my identity out there, my DNA being spread to the world.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Get in the game.
I wanna say this. Like D-Town is my first cousin, so it goes back to just me and her genealogy. Everybody, when they see us, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you guys look just alike." But she's like 6'9", and I'm like 4'1". Okay, so I have to go through the genealogy part, which our dads were brothers, but her dad was the tallest one out of all the brothers. Of course, my dad was the shortest one. So why you think hey, half pint. Hey, all day long, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, whatever you want to call it. I'm a half pint. Okay, that's my genealogy. I'm half pint the size. Yes. So we're going to go off of that. I'm going to pass the mic back to our host, Frank Nitti. And I just want to say thank you, Frank Nitti. You have done a tremendous job for the Happy Hour Chicks. Can we toast to that real quick, Happy Hour Chicks? All right, Happy Hour Chicks.
Oh yeah, thank you, ladies. That is so awesome. And just to go back what D-Town said, the reality is this: they're taking our DNA and they're taking ownership of your DNA. So ownership of who you are and what they decide to do with your DNA is a whole nother ball game. So let's just kind of go through one quick scenario. So let's say, for instance, I own your DNA. And now stem cells and all of these things that they wanted are now legal. And let's say that I need to make some D-Town hearts, some D-Town arms and legs, and maybe I want to make an entire new D-Town. Well, guess what? D-Town can't stop it because she signed her rights away. So if you've done certain tests with certain groups and they own your rights, they can make another you, and you can't tell them they can't because you signed it away. But guess what? And you paid them. And you paid them. I'm sorry, you paid them $200 or so to own you and to make another you, and you can't stop them. And then they own your rights. So if they own your rights and you need a heart, they may, I'm not sure what it says, but check this out. Let's say the rules, you say, well, I need to get a new heart. And then you say, well, I'm going to go ahead and you go to the company that's making DNA. Let's say, that's doing the stem cells. And you say, I need a new heart. I say, oh, I'm sorry, hold up, pimp. You're now owned by so-and-so who did your DNA test back in 2016 or 17 or whatever year it is, right? And you're like, well, hold up. And they said, no, it's in the agreement. We can't do it. You need to go to them. And you call them and say, oh, yeah, hey, we remember you. We remember you. Ain't no problem. It's 2040 or something like that. It's, oh, yeah, remember, it's no problem. We'll do it. It's just going to cost you $40,000. And don't worry about it. We'll set you up on payment plans. So these are the things I want you to think about. Oh, yeah, payment plans. You know how they do. Interest is always the best policy because they know you ain't sitting on 40 grand. So it's all about the money. It's always about the money. So people, family, friends, and just be careful. Look at what you're doing and what you're signing up for before you just jump guns on it. Before you jump out the window. I mean, talking about jeans, and I want to stay on the topic. They're now talking about, because it's been years, they've done research and they've gotten the approval now to where they can now, if you need a toe or something like that, you can get a pig toe. Yeah, they can use pig DNA, pig skin, pig everything, because they found a way to clear the viruses. But the real deal was that they had a problem with, because those particular animals have viruses to the human being, but they found a way to clear the virus now. So now in a couple of years, they're going to start offering you pig ligaments and pig DNA gene slicing to replace your bad eye. Place your bag leg, you have a pig eye. So if it itch a little bit, just be a little pig. And so I'm going to start with Alicia on this to see what she thinks on this new gene slicing, splicing with the pigs. Piglet, oink, oink.
I think that would be depending on, for me to make a decision to do that, I guess it would depend on how it's going to affect my life. It's not anything that I would probably go lightly into. It would be something heavy on my mind that I'd have to really think about and do a little bit more research on. But it's something to think about, because people don't even eat pork, let alone that's a part of a pig be inside.
Well, hold on. We're going to let you get back. Hold on, we're going to let her get back. Y'all know we got to take a quick break. All right, we'll be right back to you. Hold tight.
Hey, this is D-Town. Thank you for watching Happy Hour Chicks. We need you to subscribe and watch us on YouTube.
This is Frank Nitti of Frank Nitti TV. Thanks for watching. I'm looking for more rap artists, more rock and roll artists, country, blues, whatever music you're doing. I'm interested in coming out to see you. You can reach me at frankw3@gmail.com. Don't hesitate. I won't be late. I'm ready to get at you. If you need to reach my buddy, that's also a part of my show, Reggie Reg, you can reach him at reggieuncle@yahoo.com. We're looking forward to working with you. All right, back to the show. All right, we're back. Okay, let's get back to the pig. All right, pig jeans. I'm going to see what the ladies got to think about. We're going to go back to Alicia, and we'll let her finish up on the oink oink. All right, here you go.
Yes, like I was saying before, we have lots of people who do not even indulge in having pork for dinner. So I don't know how that would go off. But I have to say, when you're in a certain situation, and it's a life decision, you're going to make a decision that's going to be best for you. You may not even eat it, but at the point of them saying that you're going to survive, that you'll die if you don't do this, that might be a whole nother conversation for me. That might be a whole another conversation for someone that doesn't eat pork and hasn't for years or never has. So I think it's just going to depend on each situation that's going on and what your needs are at the time and how you look at life, really.
So, man, you hit the nail on the head. Sitting out here talking with Happy Hour Chicks, it's just thought-provoking. A lot of stuff. I haven't thought about this stuff. I haven't thought about having any animal parts replaced for me to live. And so I guess that's a moment in life decision, right? Because if we're talking about the pigs specifically, I don't mess with swine. I have messed with swine for a long time. Definitely have not thought about having any body parts replaced with those of a pig. But at 41, if it's a life or death situation and I have the choice whether or not I'm going to be here for my children, oink, oink, I'm about to, come on, get to me. Now, I'm not going to run around with a hoof because it's quality of life, too. I don't want to be trotting around with a pig arm, but, right, I don't need that. I need to get up on the good foot, and I need to be a human good foot. But, so, I don't know. I guess that's a game time decision, Do I want to be here or I don't with this pig piece? But that's my preference is to not run around with animal parts.
First of all, I was made in the image of God. He made me in the image of dirt. He made me from dirt, not an animal. He created everything, but he created man first, then woman. So for me to be saying, oh, yeah, come on and give me that pig. No, not going to do that, because that's just not me. Take me for who I am and what I am. And that's human. I'm human. I'm made out of dirt, not an animal. So I'm going to pass the mic. I'm going to let you marinate on that.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to marinate, but we ain't going to oink it. And so you heard from the ladies. The ladies are really basically saying, look, this is a game time decision. Off the rip, I ain't trying to get no pig parts, but it's going to depend on if it's a life or death situation. And at that time, at that particular moment, then we'll decide. If this is the only option you got, well, okay, maybe I need to get that pig ear. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, you go make that decision. I mean, okay. I don't eat swine either as well, but not to knock the swine eaters, because everybody and our watchers and viewers do all kinds of stuff. And so hold up before you get to posting on the YouTube, about to say something, Frank's against the other white meat and all this kind of stuff. It's an individual decision.
But don't eat it. It's not good for you.
Well, say that again?
I said, but don't eat it. It's not good for you.
But I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Right, and you know what? It's not good for you. It's not good for you because it causes high blood pressure, which in African Americans is very high. It also has sugar in it, so diabetes is very high. It's just something that we just not need to put into our bodies because it's still growing from an older age, let alone an early age. So let's just be very health conscious on what we put into our bodies.
Yeah, like chips, right?
Well,
Chips and
Cosmo.
yeah, exactly. And Cosmo.
Cosmo, you go to the
shots. You go to the shots. Happy hour with chicks, enjoying the happy hour. All right, ladies, we're going to do this last round here on this one. So, cheerleading. Cheerleading is great. A lot of children like to cheerlead. But there was an incident recently in the wonderful city of Denver, Colorado, where they call breaking, where, you know, the young lady is unable to do a split all the way to the ground. You know, to be the perfect cheerleader, you need to, you know, break that split to the ground. So they were forcing, in this cheerleader camp, to actually break her into that. Now, I don't know, that's pretty cruel in my opinion, right? If you can't naturally do it, I think it's a gradual, it's got to be some other way of figuring out how to do this other than tearing the ligaments. But we're going to start with Half Pint, and we'll let her talk about it.
Great topic. I just recently found out that I am from Denver, and it was actually at my high school. I'm alumni. However, that breaks my heart because our children, when we send them off to school and to participate in different areas in sports or wherever it may be, arts, we're trusting whomever's in charge of that. So there has to be some supervision, some type of way. I'm not saying that there was or it was there or it's not there. It's very, very disturbing to me that you have to break a split. I mean, what type of, to me it sounds like a group that you're trying to be in because you can break a split. So I want to hear more from my sisters because I'm so hurt by this to where that you break your ligaments to be a cheerleader. Listen, it's not that serious. You are hurting mentally and physically body. cheerlead. I don't know how old the young lady was or the young man. I don't know what the gender was. However, there's got to be a stop at some point. There's got to be supervision. You cannot let the children dictate how you're going to become a cheerleader to represent your school. So I'm going to pass it on to Lily, and that's what I wanted to drop.
Y'all try to make it 30 seconds. We're about to end the show.
I was a cheerleader, also a gymnast in high school a few years ago. But from my experience and from my knowledge is practice makes perfect. It's not going to be a one-time thing, so it's not something on demand that that young lady should have been subject to. It's the coach, if it had anything to do with the coach. I'm not very familiar with the story, but practice makes perfect, and that's why you have practice. And it's a gradual thing, how you learn how to do tricks, how you learn cheers. It's nothing that's overnight. It's nothing that's immediate. And anything that is results in a situation like that. Someone is hurt. And it's still back to the old way of doing things. Practice makes perfect. No one is perfect overnight. It takes time.
So I'm from Denver as well. This is D-Town with Happy Hour Chicks. And so I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I know my experience trying out for cheerleading. I was supposed to be able to do the splits. I couldn't really do them. The advent or the adding of video to environments like that make situations like this look a whole lot worse than they were, or make them seem like they didn't happen when they did when we were out there. It absolutely did happen. I'm not saying I was forced to do the splits. I'm not saying that. Right. But it magnifies things that we probably all experienced and takes it to another level. Because now you can take it to the media and what they do to my daughter. And I did some stupid and horrific things going through the whole cheerleader tryout initiation. Some stuff that they showed on video now, my cheerleading coach or other people may have gotten fired and other people may have been displaced. And not that it was that bad. Right. Being forced to do the splits on video looks a lot worse than it does being tried to do the splits or trained to do them during practice. So I'm not excusing it, and I understand why they lost their jobs, but I'm just saying that adding cell phones to certain environments magnifies the things that have always been going on, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Nothing new ever. Yeah. Nothing is new ever.
Oh, yeah. Collect those cell phones at the door when you're having a seminar. If you're having a camp, no cell phones on site. So, you know, and I agree with the ladies. Real quick, collect those cell phones no matter what you're doing so that you continue what you've been doing over the last 30 years to get someone in condition or ready for whatever you're doing. Because everybody's not going to agree the techniques or the ways you go about doing it to get them to be professionals and stars at whatever they do, because it may seem to the person that's not involved in that particular type of business. Right. So collect those cell phones. No cell phones on site. No recording unless it's happy hour chicks. Happy hour. All right, ladies, this is it.
Yes. Don't forget about the chip.
Hey, y'all heard it from the ladies. We'll get you next time. All right, we're out. Frank Nitti, Happy Hour Chicks. Bye.